In this video, I'm going to be talking about addiction and the enslaved mind brought on by corporations and governments and stuff like that. I couldn't think of another way to introduce it, so music. Welcome back everybody on yet another glorious day. Before the winter descends. It may have already descended by the time this video comes out. God, this got negative quickly. Bit of an impromptu video today. I didn't really have a plan for this one. Just something that I heard recently sparked this idea. So I kind of figured I'd just roll with it, see where it goes. I'm a huge fan of the Rich Roll podcast, which I highly recommend to anybody. It's a great podcast to listen to if you're interested in fitness and healthy eating. This week he had a guy called John McAvoy. I won't go too much into his story, but he actually spent many years in jail when he was younger. And he's completely turned his life around, and he, like Rich, he's done a lot of ultra events, and he's now currently vegan, and he spent a lot of time with his health and really turning all his negative influences and energies into positive. And he does a lot, he does a lot of promoting fitness to kids. There was something he said about the time that he spent in prison that really kind of struck a chord with me. He's always been quite an anti-authoritarian person, which I can certainly relate to. I'm not very good with authority myself, and he actively went out of his way at times to antagonize the police or the people holding him. I think he was in solitary confinement, or whatever our version of that is here in the UK, and he was kept away, and he read a book. Apparently one thing that you can't be denied in prison is books, the ability to read, and he accidentally picked up a copy of Nelson Mandela's autobiography. He didn't really think about it. I think he just picked it up off the trolley and ended up reading it. But there was a passage that really struck him, and it got me thinking as well. Nelson Mandela, in the time that he was in jail, he used to smoke cigarettes, and after a while he realized that the guards were using the cigarettes against him. So of course, if you desire something, then of course it can be used against you. But it just got me really thinking about how that is the case with so many things in life, and how ultimately a lot of the things that have such a hold over us and really make our lives shit are the things that don't actually benefit or aid us in any way whatsoever. Not only that, they're actually usually pretty damn bad for us. And it just got me, thinking about that, because that's one of the benefits that I found from not drinking, from working out, from eating healthier. Eliminating them bad things from my life has just given me so much more. And the ability to say no to those things that are harmful and those things that are constantly put into our face from large corporations and marketing and all the rest of it. It's stuff that controls us and we don't need. It really is. Now in this case he was talking about cigarettes, so let's talk a little bit about that. I was lucky with cigarettes in that they were one of those things that I never understood. I never got the taste for that sort of stuff. I used to smoke a lot of weed, a lot of hash back in the day, and I guess there was a time where I was smoking tobacco purely because of, the way we roll here in the UK. But pretty much bongs was my delivery system. So, I mean, I could talk about weed at some other point, I'm sure, but yeah, cigarettes, tobacco was never a thing for me. I never got it. A lot of people always found it like, it looked cool or rebellious. I always thought it looked idiotic. I never got it. It always just looked stupid to me, and I've always despised the smell. But I've got a lot of friends who are absolutely addicted. And have you noticed that a lot of the people who smoke, they're the ones who really age the quickest as well. The skin completely dries out, the wrinkles start coming in, and it's just a disgusting habit. To me, there's no, I know it's supposed to aid concentration and be an appetite suppressant, and, you know, there are certain benefits to it, but for me it just seems like one of those absolutely pointless, disgusting habits, and I'm so happy I never got into it. But it's marketed to us so strongly. I mean, think, how many products are there that can be sold with an image of a diseased lung, or a blackened heart, or veins that are just, you know, not working properly anymore? How many, you know, how many products out there can actually can actively say this will kill you, and still just sell ridiculous amounts? I mean, it really is quite crazy. I mean, of course, back in the day, in the Mr. Chumley Warner days, for those of you who remember Harry Enfield, he used to be actually promoted as a health benefit. Chill out with Laramies. Is that a real thing, or is that Simpsons? Might be Simpsons I'm thinking of there. But either way, you get the idea. It's really got me into thinking about just how much control these huge corporations have over our way of thinking, and the media, and, you know, Big Pharma is just, it terrifies me. For anyone who thinks there's, you know, this is all conspiracy theory shite, just remember one thing: there's no money in dead people or healthy people. The only people that there's money in is sick people. And a lot of us are sick. I'm sick and fucking tired. Take that, Big Pharma. We're continually targeted from all these things that are supposed to make our lives better. Same with junk food, same with alcohol. Not drugs, of course. Well, I'm sure if they could do, and they found a way to make money off that, they more than happily would do. Because one thing I found in my life, as somebody who gave up drinking, coming up to 7 years ago now, I have to justify not doing it. It's a strange thing. It really is a strange world we live in, of just how ingrained in our society this shit is, you know? If you don't smoke, nobody really questions it. If you don't do drugs, well, of course you don't do drugs. Why would you? But if you don't drink, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Why don't you drink? Why don't you do that? Everybody drinks. Yes, they do, and a lot of them are morons. I'm being way too harsh there, but, you know, it's fun. It's fun to do that. I'm against stereotyping and generalising. We've got to admit, it's kind of funny when you do it. But yeah, I guess it just got me really thinking that a lot of the things that are kind of associated with being rebellious or going against the grain are actually promoted to us from the mass media, from the corporations, from the governments, all of whom benefit from the money for it. I think in order to be a rebel these days is to say no to all of these things. It's to stand on your own. A lot of times the people, the supposed rebellious thinking, they're actually usually the ones who just stand in a crowd with other people who are doing the same thing and talk about how rebellious they are. Actually, maybe it's people like me who are walking alone in a field who are actually the real rebels. Genuinely, I do actually think that is kind of the way to be. To do away with being one of the sheep. I think when we're able to deny the things in life that are put in our way, that people try to tempt us with, there's a lot of power that comes with that. I certainly feel it about myself. There's a great power in saying no. You know, there's a great power in just being able to resist, resist, Sepultura. And being able to say no to the things that are there to entice us, you know. There's a reason that this stuff has been talked about in so many of the religious texts throughout the years. Materialism and, you know, giving into temptation and gluttony, etc. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're religious or not. It doesn't matter. The fact is that all of those books have been around for thousands of years, and all of them say similar things when it comes to that. You know, as soon as you give in to temptation and And yeah, you know, the material, it often leads to bad places, and it really is kind of true. Thoughts in it. A lot of you may disagree with me, and I welcome that. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think. There's things that you'd like to add to this. Like I said, this was just a thought. It was just a kind of thing that got me thinking. I thought I'd put it out there. Yeah, I don't really have a huge amount to add to this right now. Just one of those spur of the moment things. And it really got me thinking about how much we are controlled in the way we think. Maybe it just comes from me always being a bit of an outsider. I've been a metalhead all my life. Lately I've been listening to a huge amount of hardcore music. You know, going back to Cro-Mags, Poison Idea, Minor Threat. You know, I could go on there. There's plenty of bands. All of them have a very anti-authoritarian perspective, and I guess that's always appealed to me, and I guess that's always who I have been and always who I will be. I'm not necessarily, you know, I'm not really a troublemaker at all. I just do my thing, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think maybe that's where I want to go in these videos, be a little braver and actually talk about more of the things that truly piss me off. Because I did a recent video about, oh, what was it now? Oh yeah, I was doing a video about the things that piss me off about social media. And a lot of people sent me messages saying, you know, just try and live in the moment more, which ironically enough is, you know, a video that I'd done before that as well. So I'm sort of going against my own thoughts. But there's a part of me that kind of, when I think that way, is that me just switching off and not dealing with issues? Because there's a lot of things wrong with the world. Man, sheeple terrify me. So do I want to be one of the people who says nothing, or do I want to be able to actually voice my opinions about the things that I think are wrong? Yeah, that's where I'm at. Thoughts? Let me know. Things got a little bit down there, I suppose. Well, no, see, no, they didn't get down at all. I'm just thinking about things. This channel is a reflection of my ever-evolving mindscape. You know what I mean? These vlogs are just me kind of going out and thinking out loud what's going on in my head at any particular time, and some of it might be stuff that I return to later and think, actually, no, you know what, I got that wrong. But I don't think I do. That'll do for today. As I said earlier, leave your comments if you've got things that you'd like to argue about, or that you think that I didn't address too well and that you'd like to hear more of in the future. I'm always looking for future ideas for videos, so yeah, that'll do. And yeah, I'll catch you later. And bye. Extended outro thing again, because I can't find a way to just end these videos any other way than me just doing this shit and then dropping the mic just like that. Just